Hello and welcome to episode 12 of Broken. Today we're going to be talking about balance. So, like work-life balance in general, really, I think. So how do we define work-life balance? Like, what does it mean?
So for me, work-life balance is, I think you've got to plan for it. I don't think you can just expect it to happen. Obviously, there's things that are always going to need to be done, work-related things, things to do with the kids, that endless to-do list. But I think by having a little bit of preparation before life sideswipes you and you just get caught up in the daily list of chores that you need to do. Um, so I think it's really good to plan. So on a Sunday night, I tend to do this, look at like a weekly plan, think about what it is that I've got coming up that I need to do. But ultimately, before you put all of that stuff into your calendar, think about things that you need to do for yourself. So going to the gym is always a really good one that you can build into your routine that becomes part and parcel of it. And then we brought this up in previous podcasts, but like bookending your day, can you start your day in a positive way where you're doing things just for yourself, and can you end your day in a positive way? Because that bit in between, it's really easy to get caught up in, you've got to work, you're in work, you can't really be thinking about yourself too much because you've got all these other things to do. But if you can focus on that little bit in the morning before you go to work and start getting on with daily jobs, and if you can end your day feeling, I think you then will hopefully feel a little bit more grounded.
About what you can fit into your daily life that benefits you, benefits other people, I suppose, benefits people in your family, but doesn't exhaust you, because that's the other way it can go, can't it? So, what's like a good work-life balance? What does that look like for you? So, do you have? I personally have like activities I'll do during the day. I work during the day, but I always make sure that my dinner hour, wherever it might be, is taken to go to the gym. Most of the time. Yeah, so that I can use, because I can eat at home and work, and that's fine. But that's one of the luxuries of working from home, isn't it? But I know that something that drives me insane is being at home all the time, not getting out, getting stuck into a rut where you're just in the house 24 hours a day. So you're there constantly. Then the kids come home from school and you're making the tea and you're doing all the things you need to do as a parent, homework, dropping them around to different clubs or whatever you need to do, the housework, whatever. And then you're constantly inside, you're constantly in the same environment. You're not taking the time to look after yourself. You're not taking the time to talk to other adults, which as a single parent is an issue.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I think over the years, especially the last couple of years, I've really made time for myself during that day. So I've made sure that I go to like we said, we always talk about going to the gym, don't we? But I go to the gym, not just for like the bit of exercise, it's so that I can talk to a couple of different people, I can
Absolutely.
get out of the house, have we shower at the gym. So you're presenting yourself, you're getting ready, you're getting ready for the day, you feel ready to go. And that massively improves my work-life balance. Even if it's not going out with friends and doing whatever else we do, it's just those things that you need to incorporate into your life.
In order to have a good work-life balance, I think there does need to be a good level of routine there, because it's not just going to be that you've started to get this routine of going to the gym and building it into your lunch hour, but you didn't just do it overnight. It's gradually put about. So I like the fact that I go to the gym at the same time for some days of the week, because I drop the kids at school and then I go straight to the gym. So when I get up in the morning, there's not that much of a thought process. It's become habitual, because I wake up on the days when I'm not in work and I'm working from home, put my gym stuff on, do the school run, and then go straight to the gym. So I don't even really think that much about it, because it's just part and parcel of my daily, weekly routine now. Equally, you can become a little bit bogged down with it. So like today I was thinking, right, I'm not going to go to the gym because I'm actually using it as a little bit of an avoidance tactic. I've actually got things that I need to be doing at home. I've got admin things that I need to do. And by going to the gym, I'm avoiding doing the things that I need to do. So I think sometimes you can you know, there's obviously things in the day that you might like to do. Like I love going to the gym. So if I had the choice of sitting at home doing admin jobs or going in and going to do the gym, I would absolutely opt to do that. But I thought, you know what? I've been to the gym twice already this week. I'm going to do the things that I really don't want to do because I need to feel focused. And yesterday, I'd been to the gym in the morning. I'd got on with doing a few jobs, and by the time it came to working on my laptop and doing some work from home tasks in the afternoon, that was when my motivation levels completely plummeted. It took me so much longer to do a task. I could have, well, I did end up scrapping it in the end because I just thought, actually, this is not a sufficient use of my time. During this time, I should be doing things like cleaning, things that don't need as much mental capacity.
Yeah.
Whereas trying to be focused and on it. So this morning I thought, right, I'm not going to go to the gym. I'm going to crack on with the admin jobs that I really don't like to do, but I'm doing it when I'm feeling more motivated, more alert, and it's going to take me much less time.
Yeah, I think our work-life balance is probably a little bit, oh yeah, I suppose you work at the school, don't you? So you do go out to work.
Yeah.
But mine's probably a lot different to other people's because it's at home pretty much all the time, unless I need to go out anywhere. So those motivation levels, that's hard as a working from home person, like the procrastination that you go through,
the self-motivation
on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Especially because there's often quite a lot to do, but there's stuff that needs doing on a daily basis, but then there's also stuff that is bigger stuff that needs doing, and the amount of times I procrastinate about, I'll get stuck into a task and I'll do something. I know I've got like 5 other things that desperately need doing, but I'll just be focused on that and I'll be procrastinating. Oh, I can't bother starting it because it's going to
take me ages.
It's going to take me ages. It's going to take me a lot of like mental capacity for me to get involved in this and deal with it. When actually the end product of that is that it's probably going to make a lot of other things massively easier.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm like, no. And I'll get up and like put a wash on.
Always find something else to do.
Find something else to do, and then I'll be like you just said, like, oh, I'll do that at night. I'll do it in the evening, or I'll sit down. And then again, I'm sitting down with my computer at the night time when I should really be like having a bit of time for myself. So
winding down.
Yeah, sometimes I really need to kick myself up the bum a bit and be like, right, when stuff like that gets on top of me, when things seem a bit too hard, I need to step back and be like, right, look at, because it starts eating into your work-life balance, doesn't it? It's like this should be your work time. Fair enough, my job's a lot different, so it does eat into your extra time and your free time, and that's fine. But sometimes I push it to a level where it's not healthy. So I'll be on the computer all day and all night, but I won't actually be doing all the things I need to be doing, because and the things I've made work for myself, made hard for myself, because I'm not going back and doing like the main tasks. So that's difficult.
So for me personally, I work from home 3 days a week, well, 3 mornings a week, and then I work 2 full days in school, and I am working. It's a bit disjointed because I'm working a few other days here and there, a few afternoons. But when I'm in work, I start at 8, finish at 4. It's very full on. I don't get a chance to look at my phone. There is absolutely no scrolling on social media, but I like it because there's interaction with friends, there's interaction and engaging with the children, and it's very full on, but it's very busy, and it's very, it's releasing those endorphins because you're surrounded by people, and I love that. But it would be, I'm so glad that I now only do it part-time, because I think that it would be very consuming for my mental capacity to be at home with the kids constantly, leave the kids to go to work, or have that constant mental stimulation, come back and then be dealing with the kids. Whereas now, because I have found that little bit more of a work-life balance, which I didn't have on the lead up to having children, and after my first child, it was only after my second child that I gradually dropped my days. Now I've had a taste of that. I don't think I could ever go back to full time, because it is very consuming. Because it is, you feel like you haven't got time because you leave the house, you go and do work, of which when you're there, you haven't got time for yourself unless you went for a walk on your dinner hour. And then when you come back, it's how you can, it's time. You've got the work that you've got to do. In order to find the balance, it's finding more time within your day. So I know some people that might get up a little bit earlier, or if it's kid involvement, it might be that you go to the gym or you go and do something for yourself straight from work before you get home, and then have other jobs to do. So that might be part of your routine. You leave work, you go straight to the gym before you go home and do anything else.
I think COVID has helped people get a better work-life balance. balance.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially with like the working from home situation.
Yeah, so now more people can work from home, can't they? And
Yeah.
everyone had a little bit of a taste, and I think it gave people a little bit of a shake about to think,
What do I want?
yeah, you know, and the option that you can do that. But and also every person is different, aren't they? Some people really like working from home, they like that flexibility. We did an option at school where you could do your planning time at home if you wanted to, and I was like, absolutely not. No, I can't do that at home, because home is not where I do work for school. Like I work, I'm quite strict with that now. I'll only obviously there's certain things that I can't get around, like that I will have to do at home. But on the whole, I will do my work at school and I'll leave my work at school. I'll do my marking at school. You know, I'll stay a little bit late to get it all done because I don't bring it home.
Yeah.
Because it's environmental, isn't it? This is not my space where I do that. And that's I'm quite strict with that. Whereas, like you say, it's very easy if you've got work to do and you do it at school or you do it at work, and then you come home and you bring it home because you've got marking to do, you've got to send emails. It's very easy for it to creep into your house, isn't it?
Yeah, very, very easy. And like my work is pretty much at home a lot of the time. So that you do have to be able to switch it off. And that's
But it's
really
hard to do that,
difficult.
especially if you are very driven, passionate, positive, you know, you really want to excel in your career. It's very, very easy for it to gradually consume every bit of your life.
Yeah, and I've definitely been there where we've took on big projects and I've been so involved in it that it's pushed me to, it's consumed me and pushed me to like a different level. But I was reading something the other day, actually, interestingly enough, about millennial work culture. So we're classed as millennials, and then you've got the below us, which is Gen Z, I think. I'm sure it's Gen Z. But it was an article about how the millennials have got the worst, like overworked work culture, because we've gone from, the gist of it was, we've gone from our parents having very manual, hands-on jobs, and then the generation below us have got so much at their fingertips. So we've gone through we've like grown up through that technological age where there was no just like basic technology. We've got the introduction of the internet, computers, Wi-Fi, everything at the touch of a button on your fingertips and your phones.
Yeah.
So we've grown up through that, gradually getting more and more, being made more and more aware of how easy it is to tap into work. So, but it's come so gradually. So we got the internet, and then you could learn to do different things and work in different ways, and the computers and Excel and all that stuff. And then you get work emails on your phone, and you can then Zoom on your phone, and all of it has just been such like an incremental process that we've gradually added that onto the workload that we've had, but we've not really changed the way we work. So everything's just grown bigger and bigger, and then it's eaten into all of our time and our resources. Whereas the generation below us have gone into the workplace where all that's already available, and they already know what their priorities are with work. Whereas we've sort of gradually been introduced to all this extra stuff, and then took it on board. And then we live with like a bit of a guilt culture because we want to keep up with the children and the people that are learning different things. So we're pushing ourselves to learn those extra bits of technology and those extra bits of how we access that work. So that was like the gist of it. Like millennials just are overworked, and you push yourself to be overworked because you want to have more drive and more, you want to be ambitious. And the generation above us, by the time they were in their 30s, they were settled with jobs, they knew exactly what they were doing for the rest of their lives, whereas we have opportunities that the older generation have never had. So like my mum would never have started a podcast when she was 37. Do you know, like to add to a workload and add to like ambition and, you know, grow it at that age. So it's like we're still on a par with the younger generation because they're still doing this stuff and we're still doing this stuff, whereas the older generation to us wouldn't have been doing the same stuff we're kind of doing, but we're kind of on the same level.
It's really interesting, isn't it?
It's really interesting
when you think about it. And I think being on your, phones, laptops, you know, there's so many devices. You are basically contactable at every point,
24/7.
ever, all the time. And so one of the things that I always realize that I'm stressed if I get up in the morning and instantly check my phone. which a lot of people do.
I do
Because
it.
straight
My alarm is on
away,
it, so you turn your phone alarm off, and then I'm like, oh,
I'll just
it's
scroll.
in my house.
Yeah, I'll just
Yeah.
do this. And then I think that's one of the reasons why I procrastinate so much as well, because you pick up your phone and before you know it, like 10 minutes have gone.
Yeah,
And what have you actually
absolutely.
done with your time?
Yeah.
But the fact that you can, phones are very stressful.
Mm.
You could get a work email and it could completely alarm you. So you're on pins, aren't you? Obviously at different points in your life. There's always an opportunity where you could have a phone call that you may be really not looking forward to, or a text message or an email, that's going to demand something of you. Your phone is just providing demands all the time. And if you can't put that somewhere, and like the do not disturb, you can put your phone. I mean, the laughable thing is I get reminders on my phone like it's your wind down now, your wind down time now, and your bedtime time, thinking I'm flipping on it, like put it down. You've got all these reminders and all these positive habits for do not disturb, but you are the only person who can be responsible for, yes, you might have your phone for an alarm, but then being able to not use it for that, go make a cup of tea and do something else instead of that being the instant thing, letting yourself just gradually wake up. Just like at the end of the day, letting yourself just gradually, settle down, not staring at your phone last thing before bed, keeping yourself in that anxious alert state, and then doing it first thing that you do in the morning.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah, but you're not giving yourself that. I do it as well, but I mean, you're not giving yourself that natural way to wake up. You're calming. You're not finding calming. You're not finding calming techniques for your day, are you? If you're constantly on the go with tasks to do, or there's always going to be things to do, isn't there? When you're at home, you've got things to do with the kids. You're getting demands from the kids. When you're at work, you've got demands from whatever you've got to do at work. At home, you're actually creating more demands on yourself by staring at your phone, actually finding things to do, because you've got into that cycle of being so used to doing. So where do you put those boundaries in place to say, you know what, I'm going to do nothing now. I'm going to plan time. So rather than looking at your schedule, like say I do it on a Sunday night, or even the night before, look at your calendar, what have I got on tomorrow? Planning things that you are not going to do. Let's stop creating more things to do, and let's actually slot blank bits of time in our day, like you're saying about your lunch hour. I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to go for a walk, I'm going to at last thing at night, I'm going to read my books. That's something that I've done now, because I'm still doing, but I'm doing something that is a bit more of a wind down thing.
Because I feel like that, like I can't just schedule the time to
do nothing,
because I would, I don't know how I'd probably just have to have a nap, because I wouldn't know how to.
But that's good. Like having a nap, going for a walk, seeing a friend.
It's about boundaries though, isn't it? And I sort of created my the company that I work for, we're all very close, and we all message each other, and we all know each other very well. So like people will message me 7 o'clock in the morning when they get up via Facebook or WhatsApp, oh, I've sent you this today, or do you mind doing this today, or we've got this today. And that's always going to happen, because that's the kind of workforce that we are. It doesn't mean that I have to answer it right then and there. So I've had to change my boundaries a little bit. So I used to pick up something like that and be like, oh crap, it'd play on me, and then I'd be like, oh, I've got to do that today, and then I'd message them back, and I'd be like, then I'd be opening my laptop earlier than before the kids have gone to school, and then I'd be doing stuff, and then I'd get into like a vicious cycle of overworking at times when I know I just need to sit and have a brew and get ready. I need to make the kids lunches, and so then you put those boundaries in place for myself. That's goes, well, you're not replying to any of those messages until you've sat down at 9 o'clock with your laptop, and then you can then think about those things, and it'll happen later at night. And sometimes I'll be working later at night, or I might then be like, oh crap, I've got this person hasn't gotten back in touch with me, but I need that information. I definitely need them to give me tomorrow, so I'll have to message them and prompt them, which I hate doing, but I will do it. But it's not on them to message me back now. It's just to get out of my head. So it's like sending an email, but then I think they might not see it, they might not read it. So it's just to get that task out of my head and out of the way, which I know is what, when I get those messages from people at work, that's what they're doing. They're offloading what they need to do at the time they need to do it, because they might be out all day or something. But it is about boundaries. It's about setting them for yourself. You don't need to massively make a big deal about it, or profess to anybody. It's about having them for yourself, so you know that you're going to have that, make the work-life balance easier for yourself, better for yourself.
Yeah, and I think we work in seasons, don't we?
Yeah.
That's how the year pans out. We've got different seasons, and there'll be certain times of the year where you're more focused on your career. There'll be certain times of the year that you're more focused on your health and well-being. So like January is a big push for health and well-being and, you know, positive habits and really looking after yourself and maybe going to the gym and starting off your personal New Year's resolutions. You know, over the summer months, it's very, you know, it's much more family orientated and friends and socializing, and you're out and you're going to do lots of these things. So that might be a season where you're not as focused on your career and pushing and driving for it. And I think if we think of it like that, rather than trying to do everything all at once, it reduces the pressure a little bit, doesn't it? Speaking from experience as a mum and a single mum, it's I get very caught up in being able to do everything, because I do have to do everything, but I don't have to do everything all at once. And it's that thing where I'm going to listen to this podcast or listen to this audiobook whilst I'm cooking tea, because I'm really determined that I want to learn more things or progress in my career or whatever it is that I want to do. Then try and spend time with the kids and, you know, plan lots of fun activities with them and socialize and do lots of nice things at the weekend and clubs and things like that. And then when they've gone to bed, I used to always do this. I used to immediately be jumping on Zooms. So I would be frantically trying to get the kids to go to sleep so that I could jump on a Zoom at 8, half 8, and I'd be on a Zoom for an hour, making notes, chatting to people, getting all these things done, go to bed, already in quite an alert state. I don't do this anymore now, really. Might do the odd one, but I'm keeping myself on that adrenaline rush. And although I'm buzzing when I come off it, when I come off the Zoom, because I'm, you know, I've got all this knowledge, I then really struggle to wind down because I'm in an alert state. And they do recommend about the gym. Obviously not everyone can go to the gym first thing in the morning, but the idea of it being that sets you up for the day, but then it helps you to feel more naturally tired in the evening. Whereas if you go to the gym late at night, you're high on those, in, you know, on a bit of an adrenaline rush, and it's difficult for you to switch off.
I find that I go to one of the classes I do is on like is on a night time. It doesn't finish till 9, and when I get in from there, naturally my bedtime's probably about 9:30, 10, so that's what time I'd like to go to bed and be asleep because I'm tired. But I can't do it, so I'll be agitated and awake and I don't know, just anxious, I suppose, a little bit anxious. But then I love the class, so what I've started doing when I come back from there is sitting downstairs, having like a decaf tea, just letting myself chill out a little bit, rather than, because I'd just be going straight upstairs, getting in bed, and then expecting to just be able to fall asleep, and then I was just winding myself up and making myself feel worse about it. Why can't you sleep? Why can't you do this? And you're just playing on yourself. So I've tried to like separate the time a little bit.
Having periods of time where you're calmer, periods of time where you're not doing as much. Can't completely switch off, because it's really hard to completely switch off, isn't it? But I think rather than, it's being more mindful. If you can practice mindfulness techniques, so for example, if I went to go and see a friend for coffee before, as I was driving over there, in my head I'm thinking, so I'm going to do this, and then you know, this is what I'm going to do today. And then I was like, no, stop. Like, actually taking your surroundings. Like, it's a really nice view as I'm driving over the tops and seeing all the hills. And that is a really good thing to just, you know, you are going to have all these different things to do. But if you can practice being a little bit more mindful and present as you're doing these things run much more smoothly. You're not as distracted, you're not procrastinating as much, because you're just focusing on one task at a time. And I think I've really struggled in the past, because I've got so used to multitasking, it's become a habit.
I'm terrible. I just multitask everything. So I'll be watching a film and I'll be on my phone and I'll be doing something else. Anything.
And I think that comes from, for me, teaching, I think, was definitely a big part of it. I've had to learn to be able to do multiple things all at once. But being a parent as well, being a new parent, and then just in general, like
I think being a woman, your brain is more susceptible to that multitasking skill, like just being like
we're coming a little bit stereotypical now.
I think that we use different parts of our brain.
Maybe.
So I think the multitasking and it's bred to you as a woman from a young age, as a girl, to be able to multitask. So you're more than
Like
likely,
traditionally, you mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
more than likely as a female, you're going to be downstairs with your mum, and your mum might just be like, "Oh, can you just pass us that?" Or can you just like put that bit of that on the side, or could you put that washing in, or could you do that? So you're like training your brain to be able to like do those little bits of tasks and stuff like that.
I
But
would say that
maybe,
to the kid. I would say that to both of the kids. I
yeah, but
wouldn't
I
say
feel
that.
like our generation, I don't feel like, and I don't feel like I've got boys and I've got a girl, and I genuinely feel like they're completely different
Different,
minded.
100%.
Like obviously they're all individuals, so they're all different, but the boys definitely don't grasp things as easy as, and it's like they can't build it into like, well, it's harder to build into the brain. So with Etta, she'll have something to eat upstairs and she'll bring a plate downstairs. She'll put something in the wash. The boys, everything's on the floor.
Yeah,
There's
maybe that's a
nothing
teenage
brought
thing. Maybe
downstairs.
they were like that a little bit more when they were younger.
Maybe.
Hard to remember, isn't it?
Yeah.
See, my boy's the oldest and daughter's youngest, but don't know. My youngest, she likes to do things around the house.
Yeah.
My eldest will only do things if he is going to get some sort of reward for it.
Yeah, that's like mine.
Whereas my girl, she likes to do
Do you think
things.
it's a bit of like imitation of like a female role model?
Maybe, and maybe that comes down to being single parents
Yeah,
as well.
maybe. Yeah.
Because she don't, like when I went for parents' evening, they were saying that she does mimic. Well, no, they didn't say she mimicked me, but when the things that they were saying that she was doing, I was like, oh gosh, I
Yeah, I
definitely
do
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you
So
think
maybe
it's
it
like
is
mimic behaviour from
from us.
from us?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's
And
our
we are
fault.
female role models.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's our fault. We're the ones multitasking and frantically rushing around, so we're encouraging them to do the same
Yeah.
thing.
We show them that that's what you
Wow,
do.
light
So
bulb
yeah.
moment. Stop multitasking.
Yeah.
Impacting it on our children.
Yeah. But then equally that works the other way, doesn't it? So we do like a bit of relaxing, and like I'll go in my room and put some like nice meditation music on, and like a nice light that we've got, and sit and read something, and she'll come up and she'll see me, and then I'll go downstairs and she'll have her light on and she'll have some music on. And like, well, that's like learned behavior, which is actually really nice.
Yeah, we
And
used
then
to get
sitting doing your skincare and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's she'll put various moisturizers on, and she'll take that time to just do it herself, which is lovely.
It is. It's lovely, but it's also scary, isn't it? The fact that we have such an impact on our children.
So scary.
And it can be a positive or it can be a negative.
Yeah.
And just trying to teach them. And honestly, I feel like you can be I'm such a critic for myself, thinking, oh, no, got really cross then, or oh, wish you didn't do that, wish you didn't do that. But do you know what? There are going to be times when we don't get it right all the time. Do you know, there's going to be times where we're stressed at work, and we're already a little bit on the edge, and we take, we might shout, or we might do things that we wouldn't normally. So then it's that constant critique of yourself, isn't it? Self-reflection. And I'm not saying that you go to bed at night and beat yourself up thinking, oh gosh, I've just shouted at the kids, I've just done this, but thinking, do you know what, actually I'm a little bit overworked at the moment.
Yeah.
I need to, or being kinder to yourself, I've not been feeling very well, or I really need to look at my schedule because I've not been investing in any self-care.
Yeah.
I've been very focused on work, I've been working till really late. I really need to put some more boundaries back in. And it's a constant cycle of, let's just review what have I been doing, how can I focus on things that are more inclined to what it is that I need for myself right now.
Yeah, and it's about taking responsibility for those things as well. I think that's really important to show the children. So because we all get angry, we all shout, we all lose it for various reasons, and something will push you over the edge and you snap, and then you shout, or you lose your rag, or you go in the kitchen and you shout at yourself or whatever,
screaming to a pillow.
Yeah. But I'm always very mindful that obviously as soon as you've done it you feel guilty because you've took, so, like something's gone wrong and you've hit the easy button, you've
lost control. That's what it is, isn't it?
So then I always now, I didn't used to always do this, this is like something I've learned to do myself, and it makes me feel better and it makes them feel better. I go and apologize. So I'll
Yeah.
wait a while for everyone to simmer down, for me to think about what's happened. And then I just, at the minute, I'm texting the boys, because they'll listen better if I text them. So I'll text them, or I'll go up and see them and be like, I'm really sorry that I shouted at you. This is, I don't feel right today. I'm really stressed. And then that last thing pushed me over the edge. And then they just go, it's fine, like, that's fine. And as long as you're like showing them that that behavior wasn't acceptable, but that you're willing to accept that it was wrong, and
Yeah.
because you expect them to apologize to you when they do something wrong. So you've
So
got to
right.
show them that
And that,
you're not big enough. You're never too big to apologize. You're
yeah,
never too
and I
grown up
think
to apologize.
I've had to really teach myself to do this, because there's this whole
Yeah,
like superiority, whereas
you do.
you're the parent, you're the adult, you know everything, or you have to know
Yeah,
everything. You're always right. You
you've
know,
always got to have your crap together.
yeah,
Like,
you've always got to get the
ducks
last
are always
word in.
going to
People
be in
have
a
got to
row.
listen to you,
Yeah,
and you've got to be in control of the situation. Whereas actually, you're never going to be completely in control of every situation. To model that it's all right to get things wrong,
yeah,
it's all right to make mistakes, because if you display perfectionism, which is something that I really used to do all the time, I used to feel like I had to portray that I had it together all the time, whereas actually, you know, it's unrealistic.
yeah,
There are going to be times, you know, and I always say to the kids, it's okay to be angry, it's just not okay to hurt people as a result of your anger.
yeah,
So it's okay to be angry, but if you know there's steps, there's strategies that you can use to calm down when you're in that situation. And you know, it's okay to cry, it's okay to be sad,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
okay to have all these, it's okay to be really giddy. And letting them, it's self-regulation, isn't it?
Yeah.
And helping, but
Helping them understand.
yeah, and it's so powerful that you are such a role model in not just your children's lives, but the people you have around you as well.
Yeah,
People in your work, or you know, your friends. Just doing this, you know, advocating that it's all right to talk about how you're feeling and express what's going on in your life.
yeah,
Because I think there's this taboo subject that you have to portray that you've got, you know, you can go to work 9 to 5, you can sort the kids out, do all the homework, take them to all the clubs, and yet still manage to go to the gym, look good, eat healthily. Like, oh, you can't do that every single day of your
no,
life. Like, it's
absolutely
not
not.
sustainable. So there are going to be periods of time where you're going to be more focused on work, periods of time where you're more focused on yourself, periods of time where you're more focused on the kids. And I think that, you know, you've got to do the basics all the time, but if you're realizing that you're getting it a bit wrong at the moment, because actually you're not really spending a significant amount of time with the children, or when you are, they might be there, but are you really engaging with them completely, because you're
Yeah,
trying to check your work email at the same
yeah,
time?
yeah,
And kids are really good at this. They're really good at saying, right, put your phone down now.
yeah,
And they are
yeah.
really, they're good at keeping you in check.
Yeah, I find, yeah, they'll come down in the morning and I'll be on my phone, and I've made like conscious decisions to just like
Yeah.
put it down, because then they're gonna think it's okay to
Yeah.
have their phone when they're talking to somebody else or to me, and you're never gonna form those connections and those bonds, because you're all gonna be not really listening. I watched there was a little thing on don't know, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, one of those, like a little video. There was a mum who like she sat down at the table, and she had like a husband and 2 kids, and they were all on like a separate device. She sat down, put the food down in the middle of the table, dished herself food out. Nobody looked up from the devices. She ate a full dinner, and nobody looked up from the devices. Then she just cleared away everything and put it on the side. And then it was only her husband was like half an hour later, like, "Where's my dinner?" She was like, "You can absolutely do one." Awful, but that's kind
Yeah.
of,
But we're the
yeah,
role models for that as well.
yeah,
So if
of
we're,
course.
and it is a society where, you know, you go anywhere, you go on the school run and people are checking the phones just before they get the kids, or you go anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere, at all points, your phone is constantly glued to you, and you're in the cycle of always being able to answer someone's message straight away, or just check something. It's like this compulsion of constantly doing something.
Yeah, and it's setting those boundaries in within your house, within your family, I suppose, as well. Like, I'll always set at the minute, a couple of times they've been up, they'll take the dinner upstairs if it's like really cold, or it's like a sandwich or something. But we make a conscious plan to eat together at the
Together.
table. even though like sometimes I don't eat the same food because I'm a vegetarian, but I'll sit at the table with them anyway, or I'll get something else, or just so that nobody's got the phones and we're all just sat on the table, even if it's only for 10 minutes while you wolf your dinner down. And then there's active conversation while you're at the dinner table. And when, having your breakfast all together around the table, it's just, I don't know, it's making those putting those boundaries in at home. It just get harder and harder as the children get older because they just want to be in the room and they just want to be with on FaceTime to the friends or watching whatever they want to watch or messing about with whatever they want to watch and drawing or whatever. They're not gonna want to spend time with you all the time. That's just how it is. That's how you grow up. It's what happens. It's what develops. But um, having those small boundaries in every day. That okay, every day we sit down and we eat dinner together. Might only be 10 minutes, but it's something that we all do together. We're not on our phones. We're all focused on eating and each other. Which is nice. And my middle child has got into cooking, so he'll like cook lunch, dinner once a week. So he's got a little recipe book for Christmas, and he'll go through and choose what he wants. I'll buy the ingredients, and then he'll knows that once a week he'll cook a tea. So this week he did like burgers. But that it's like finding what each individual child kind of what that time should look like, but that you need to spend together.
I think it's hard if you've got more than one child as well, because
Yeah.
you feel like you can give one person your undivided attention at any one time. So I think it's really good to kind of schedule as part of your weekly routine just that little bit of alone time with, one-to-one time. It could be taking one of them to a club. It could, well, whilst one of them's at a club, you're spending one-to-one time with somebody else, or homework and reading a story and things like that.
Yeah.
Obviously mine are younger than yours.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we are advocates of that work-life balance straight away now, aren't we?
Yeah.
And if you look at the rise of mental health problems, a lot of it is down to the fact that we're just a very stressed out society.
But that
too many.
Yeah, and it is because we've got too much information and too much access to too much information. So you're constantly filling your time without you knowing that you're filling your time. Like we're saying,
Constantly consuming, aren't you? You've got all this information that's being thrown at you, whether it's on the radio, television, podcasts, social media, and then through people that you're speaking to. You're constantly being saturated, and it's having that. And
then it feels like sometimes when you step out of that and you step away from it, it feels it like you've got a massive void there because you're not used to being able to spend your free time as actually doing stuff.
Yeah, for yourself.
Yeah,
just being on your own.
I feel like being younger and growing up and being at sort of the beginning of secondary school before phones became a thing, really, and just sitting in my room, and I had a TV, so I'd have my TV on or whatever. I'd just be like drawing or painting, and then think, oh, I'll change my room round, or I'll do. You fill your time, don't you, like differently? But now you just pick up a phone and you just like, right, so I'm gonna stare at this for 3 hours, like.
Yeah.
So it's crazy because we've got so used to consuming 24 hours a day at everything.
Yeah. You know what? If we actually think about how much time you waste doing that, like by being on your phone or scrolling, you get like I get a summary each week of how often, how much time I've spent on my phone, how much screen time. Look at it and think, oh my gosh, like what have I done?
Yeah.
Like how much time have I wasted? Like what is it that I've been using? Like what have I been doing? Genuinely don't know what happened there.
What happened? Yeah. Watched 20 cat memes in a row.
Oh my gosh, what is going on? So I think it's so good to, obviously you can't just go from all or nothing, but I think to have periods of time in your day where you are not on a device. So, scheduled family time where you're eating, the amount of times where I've tried to eat and be doing something at the same time.
Like
cooking.
Stress reliever, isn't it?
Going for a walk and leaving your phone at home. Going in the gym and do that. It's good, really good. Going into the gym and just leaving your phone in the locker as opposed to taking it with you. Why can we not do that? But I got into the habit of
kind of just feel like for me, like in my mind, what if school ring? What if work ring? Like.
Yeah, but then I think we've got like what happened previously when we didn't have that.
Yeah. It's just because you're so used to having that
I know.
direct contact.
So what and obviously each person, some people are on call, they need to have the phone with them, but you might have it there, but you don't need to look at it every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Can you turn your notifications off, or can you do something so that it's not constantly pinging? You leave it to one side and you will check things at that time when you come to check on it.
Yeah.
So it is being strict with your time, isn't it? But also kind of planning it in. So for me, first thing in the morning when I wake up, try really, 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 really hard. I'm not very good at it at the minute, but try really, really hard to do some meditation, which I will listen to on my phone, but I won't be looking at my phone.
Yeah.
So I'll do that in bed before I even get up.
Yeah.
I used to do my gratitude journal in my phone, but I've moved away and I just do that in a book now.
Yeah.
So there's something a bit magical about just having pen and paper. I'll write down, some positive things that I've done in the day, or journaling, or reading a book. These are things where you are doing an activity which will not require a device. And if you can slot more times like that in, rather than saying, it's a bit like trying to give something up and keep telling yourself over and over again that you're not allowed to have biscuits. Well, if you tell yourself over and over again that you're not allowed to have them, you're going to want them a lot. If you completely cut something out, you're going to crave it. Instead, if you find things, so like when you go in the gym, for me personally, I really need to try and do this more, but just I'm going to leave my phone in the locker. So for that hour that I'm going to do a class, my phone's it's not going to be there. You can't take it in the pool with you when you go swimming, can you?
No.
So it's going to stay in the locker. And if someone needs to get me, well, I'll be out in an hour. Just little pockets of time throughout the day where I'm not going to be on your phone.
Yeah. You could start that off really like, if you were really stuck and you're thinking, well, what am I actually going to do if I don't just sit and have that void time? So you could like make a bit of a list of stuff that you really enjoy doing. It doesn't have to be like big things.
Yeah.
So like we said, going to the gym, obviously, going for a walk, cooking,
seeing a friend,
reading a book, reorganizing your room, whatever, like something that brings you a little bit of joy that you really enjoy, that you could add into your sort of daily schedule. If you just made a list and you put it on your fridge, and then when you were like, right, I need to put my phone down, I've got some free time, what can I do? You go to your list and have a quick look and be like, what was that quote? I put something on the other week that said like, look at make a list of the things that you love in your life.
Yes.
Make a list of the things that you don't love about your life. And then it was like adjust, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah. So basically, what are you wasting your time on?
Yeah.
On a daily, weekly basis.
Yeah, adjust it. That's like part of your work-life balance, isn't it? It's part of your home balance. It's how you want to spend your time, your free time at home, or your time with your family, like making it more present. So thinking about it more, thinking about your time more and how you spend it is going to make you think about what you do with it, isn't it?
Do you know what I was told? Something, I might not get this right, but something along the lines of imagine that you're getting paid on the hour.
Yeah.
You would think very carefully about how you're spending your time.
Yeah.
So for every activity that, for whatever it is that you're doing in your day job, or, just think about it as in you're getting paid on the hour. Would you be wasting your time?
That's kind of like the Stephen Bartlett thing that we talked about before, wasn't it? Where it's like the token thing, where you've got 12 tokens in your day. So obviously you've got 24 tokens in your day, but say 12 of them are took up with your sleep and then like your morning routine and your nighttime routine. And then you've got your other 12, which might be consumed with like 8 hours of work, 7 hours of work, however many hours you work. And then you've got that maybe 3 or 4 hours of time that are just yours.
Yeah.
They're just yours for your home life. What are you going to do with them? So you've already wasted, you've not wasted some of your tokens on sleep, because that's important, and it's how important is that to you? So how much of your time do you want to use on sleep?
How much sleep do you need?
Yeah, how much sleep do you need? So like a good 8 hours. So 8 of your tokens are done. 8 hours of work, 16 hours have gone. So then you've got 8 hours left for the day. Some of that's going to be family time. Some of that's should be gym time. But 8 hours, it's quite a big chunk of time, really, isn't it? And you don't think of it like that. So if you think of everything as like every hour as a token, how many tokens do you waste a day? You just waste them. Like you can spend a full token just scrolling on Facebook.
Yeah, more than a full token.
Yeah, exactly. So so it's like retraining your brain, isn't it? Rewiring it to think about.
You
Absolutely can. Like we've just talked the beginning of this podcast is we've talked about how we've changed our routine and our brains to do different things loads of times. So you can definitely do it. You've just got to make it more of a habit, like habitualize it, haven't you?
It's just completely gone out of my brain.
You could also think about, like you were saying, when are you most productive in the day? So you could think about changing your time management to be more structured that way. So like you say, like maybe between 9 and 11 in the morning, you're really on it because you're awake, you've had a coffee, you've been up, you've maybe been to the gym. And then you've got like maybe like 10 till 12, maybe then before lunch. You've got to, rather than thinking of your work day as like a full block of 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, whatever, you think between like 11 10 and 12 every day is probably your most productive time. So how am I going to use that time? What tasks am I going to focus on during that time? The bigger ones, the ones that take more mental capacity, the ones that you're going to struggle with in the afternoon later on when you're hitting that caffeine wall and you're a bit tired and you're like, and you're going to go home soon, so you're thinking about that. So it's about like prioritizing tasks to work around how your body works during the day. Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe that's something you need to look at.
I think definitely. I think that, and also, say like if I've got up and I've been to the gym in the morning, I know full well I'm going to be way more productive.
Yeah.
So today I felt like I was more productive to not go to the gym because I've been to the gym already this week and I could just spend this time to focus. But on the whole, if I've got up and been to the gym or done some sort of physical activity in the morning, I am elated. I've got this like surge of energy. I'll come in and sometimes before I've even like had a shower and stuff, I'll be like, right, I'm going to just spend a bit of time doing this, 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 and this. I'm going to make phone calls. I'm going to do this. I'm going to just be really focused. And I think if you've got that pocket of time and you're really strict with it. So today I messaged someone had just messaged me and I just said, can you just give me an hour? I need to do this.
Yeah.
And I'll speak to you in an hour. Hope that's all right.
It's like that, putting your phone on Do Not Disturb. I do this sometimes. So if I know I've got something that I definitely need to do and I've been procrastinating about it and I just need to sit down and do it. And I'm a bugger for like putting the Alexa on in the kitchen and working. Or like putting the TV on in the living room and walking around and doing bits of work. So I'll turn everything off and I'll put my phone on Do Not Disturb and I'll put it on silent really and move it away. And then I know that I've got to focus on that. I'll start it, spend those 2 hours doing something, and you'll get like an endorphin rush from
you've just done a task.
Yeah, you was really bothered about it. Yeah. But you've done it. You know you've done it well. You know you've put all your energy into it, and you feel great for doing it.
The Eat the Frog.
One piece at a time. Or is that Eat the Elephant?
That's Eat the Elephant. Yeah. So no, it's Eat the Frog. I can't remember the book now who was the author of it, but you've got the Mel Robbins, which is the 5 4 3 2 1 rule. So a bit like you're lying in bed.
Yeah.
And you constantly just say, oh, I'm really, really tired. I'm really, really tired. I don't want to get up. I can't get up now. And you know, all that's kind of, it's really nice and warm in my bed. I really don't want to get up.
Yeah.
But it's counting down 5 4 3 2 1. And you're literally 5 4, peel the cover back for 3 2, and you're up by 1.
Yeah.
So if you can count yourself down, it's literally like I need to go and do it right now.
Yeah.
So that's the 5 4 3 2 1 rule with Mel Robbins. The Eat the Frog is you've got a list of things that you need to do in the day. You're going to do the thing that you are wanting to avoid first, and then everything else will get done. Yeah. So I go to the gym. I've got a list. Maybe I've got 3 things that I need to do that day. I'm going to go to the gym, go and do that first. I come back and I'd literally do the first thing that's on the top of my list. So for me, it's admin. Yeah. Absolutely hate admin jobs. Had to do my tax return recently. Things like that just fill me with dread. I hate just sitting there, not being active, just sat at a desk, staring at a screen. I hate it. Yeah. So, but I need to do it. Yeah. So I need to just bite the bullet and do that first of all. And actually, I've built it up to be way worse in my head than it actually is. So the idea, so the idea being that you just spend, even if you just started it, you know, even if you just say I'm going to spend 5 minutes doing it, obviously the idea you would end up spending more than 5 minutes doing it, but it's just to lighten the load to actually make you start, because otherwise you'll avoid it and find 1,000,001 other things to do. Whereas if you just started it would be so much easier. Yeah, it's that fear instead, isn't it?
Procrastination and fear, and like you say, the fear is always the worst, isn't it? Fear of anything is always going to be worse.
Yeah, but you add
than what it
weight.
actually is.
You add weight to it in your head, don't you?
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
oh, it's really going to feel awful. I'm going to really hate it. And actually, when you've done it, just think about it's a bit like going to the gym. I keep talking about the gym, but you feel so much better after it's done. Do you know what I was thinking of when we were talking before? Do you remember that film Time, where they all have like
Or someone like Justin Timberlake.
yeah. Do you remember that film?
Like they have to pay
They get paid in
Paid in
time,
time,
yeah, and their
yeah.
time can run out and they can take time from other people.
Yeah.
And it's actually a really, really good film to make you think about how much we waste time,
Yeah.
how crucial and how special time is. You know, think about what's happened over the last 5 years and how quickly it's gone, and when things pop up on your time hop.
Like, how was that 5 years
Yeah,
ago?
like
It's
what
crazy.
happened? How has that time gone so quickly? And how precious time is. You know, everyone gets the same 24 hours in a day. How do you use that time? And how can you use the time better? Because once that time is gone, you are never, ever, ever going to get it back.
It's like you're gonna live forever, isn't it? Like you feel like you've got such longevity and you're just
when
gonna,
you're younger.
yeah, you do. We still do now, don't you? You don't. We're getting older, but you don't think about
No.
that you're gonna die, do you? You just kind of just oh that well, I'll deal with that when that happens or whatever comes to it.
Yeah, like it's an endless supply.
Yeah. But I suppose that's like it's a bit like ambition, isn't it? About pushing yourself and and th- and thinking you want to change your life. It's all like I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I know what you're trying to get at. So, do you feel that you spend enough time with your family and your friends?
Um,
As in right now, obviously not a grand scale of things.
no, yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think sometimes I suppose this is where like life and you're not going to live forever kind of squeezes into it because sometimes like we get so big. I think family especially. I think I get so busy and we all get so busy that we don't generally make a lot of time for each other. I also think that with things like group chats and stuff, they're great for keeping up with each other and we speak to each other every day. But then we don't generally like see each other.
Or you've said it.
Or you've said everything and you feel like you live in each other's pockets so much that way. With like we have a family group chat, so we're all on it. We all know what each other's up to. We'll all post each day. We'll all say morning or whatever.
Oh,
But then it kind of makes me not make the time to go and see people
yeah.
because I feel like I already know all about them, and I mean that's probably fine because like nobody makes time to come and see me either. But so like my nana and stuff. Sometimes I just like we text all the time, text every day or whatever. But I just feel like if I didn't have that, then I would make more time to go and see her. But then it's double-edged sword, isn't it? Because I wouldn't know what she was up to every day,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't see it. Like she has a Facebook and an Instagram, and she's called Instanan, and
Is
she
He's gonna love the
calls
shout
herself
out.
Instanan, yeah. But then she's busy as well. She's got more of a social life now. Like she's involved in loads of groups and does lots of things. But then it makes you think, doesn't it? Like, do I like when just by you saying do you spend enough time? Maybe I don't spend enough time with them.
I think by asking the question to yourself, you think, well, when was the last time I saw this family member? When was the last time I saw this family member? You know, I might have saw them in passing. Like I see my mum all the time, but do I take her for granted for the fact that I see her all the time? So do I really fully engage in one-to-one conversations with her and checking in with how she is?
Yeah.
Because I'm so used to seeing her all the time.
Yeah.
But am I really spending quality time with her when I see her?
Yeah. Yeah. But then that's just adding to your kind of workload, isn't it? And you're beating yourself up a little bit about something that isn't really. You could overthink everything like that.
You could, but I think it's being reflective, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, how self-absorbed am I with all the things that I need to do in my life at this moment, and how engrossed in my own brain of I've got to do this and I've got to do this, and now I can't actually focus on what this person's saying to me because I'm that ingrained in focusing on what's going on in my own head. It's just stepping away from that, isn't it, and trying to display a little bit more empathy for other people, stepping into that person's shoes, checking in with them, asking how they are, and doing nice things for that person. which you have to learn how to be empathetic.
Yeah,
And some
you
people
do.
really,
Yeah,
really cannot be empathetic.
yeah.
And I think it's really important to be kind to yourself, but then display that kindness out to other people and, give time to other people as well. And by having that work-life balance, if you're constantly fueled on yourself and your work and all the things that you've got to do, then you are not going to be thinking about other people, are you?
Yeah. That's what a lot of people who are sort of who have really pushed themselves to do big work things. So let's say like, you know, people who've got big celebrities and have really worked hard and pushed themselves away. Like you hear when some of them have like interviews and stuff like that, they'll tell you how they sacrificed a lot.
Mhm.
So, but I suppose it's for themselves really because they didn't have like maybe they didn't have a great relationship with the parents or they didn't have a girlfriend or boyfriend, didn't make time for the friends because they were so focused on doing those tasks. But then that's also it affects other people's lives, doesn't it? So it's pushed somebody away,
Yeah.
like you say.
Might have broken down a marriage as a result,
Yeah.
or a relationship, because you were very work orientated and you didn't make time for your spouse, and then things have broken down.
So it's like, how important is that? So obviously for us, it's not massively up there. Otherwise, we'd be doing something else. But like passion and money, some people that's all their driving forces are, isn't it? And then
It
that must
is, I
massively
suppose.
affect their work-life balance.
So
It's just a work balance, isn't it?
it is, but I think it depends what you're going out for. So are you focused on money or passion when you're choosing your career, you personally?
Yeah. Um, I feel like a bit of both for me. I do like events management, but I work with people with learning disabilities and autism like directly. So I think I love my job. I really enjoy it. Some of it is hard, um, but yeah, I mean, it's passion, isn't it? Like the money is good, but you want to. I think it's important for me to work somewhere where I feel valued
Mhm.
and where I enjoy what I do. I can't even imagine. I mean, don't get me wrong, some days I'm like, what is this? Like, I've got too much to do and like I can't
I
cope with
can't
it.
do
This is
this.
a mess and like I
Yeah.
can't deal with it. But um overall, I love my job, wouldn't change what I do, but it must be hard to work somewhere just for working sake, like the work just for work purposes because you need the money and you can't make those steps to get to work somewhere that you want to or want to enjoy. That must be really difficult.
Mhm. I think it started definitely as a passion, really loving being surrounded by people and working with children and that kind of innocence and, watching someone succeed. And that is definitely passion. I don't get paid any more or less for doing that.
Yeah.
That's just, I get paid as a flat rate in teaching. Um, but I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy the job,
Yeah.
because there's other things that I could do for the same amount of money.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
it's definitely the whole positive reinforcement. You're watching people succeed, but equally that money can be an incentive, can't it? So as well as doing the teaching, I built an online business, and that was very much it became definitely an addiction, with the
Yeah.
whole wanting to progress, wanting to help other people, to see them succeed. But then also it was brilliant to earn the extra money doing that as well, and that because it was um commission based, it could go on and on and on. So then it can become quite addictive because you can earn as more the more that you do. So then that reinforces working more hours, doesn't it? Um, and then I got into a state where I'd worked too much doing my day job and then doing that at night as well, that I completely burnt myself out in the end of it, because you weren't giving yourself any downtime. So it's hard, isn't it, in self-employment, because you can push yourself. You're the person who is pushing yourself, and you can push yourself too far, you can push yourself over the edge, can't you?
Yeah. But then that's when you've got to take those steps back. I mean, it's different for just single people who all they've got to do is pay for the rent or whatever. But when you've got like a family to support, and things like that. That's when like jobs can become a trap as well, can't they? Like when you feel like you've got to stay and do the same thing, even though you may not be passionate about it, because you
You've got,
need that money
yeah.
and you're too worried about taking a step out your comfort zone to change your career because you've got that pressure of a family. So
And it's change as well, isn't it? I recently had to go to uni and do a master's, and that is scary, but it's also really exciting to do something different, to challenge yourself. And I think that's something that I've realised over the years, that I like to be learning, I like to be growing, I like to be finding out new things and progressing, and not to be afraid to go down a different route, because I think that comes traditionally as well. I remember when I told some of my family members that I was going to reduce my days in teaching, and the panic of the faces, like, well, what about your pension, and what about this, and what about this? But if I didn't take that leap, then it wouldn't have opened up other doors for me.
I'm terrible at finding other things to do in my spare time. So doing art or doing just different bits of stuff, and like selling art, all sorts of things. This and that isn't a traditional thing that people do. So a lot of people, but even like at one point I made a couple of cakes for the kids and people wanted to buy them, so I ended up doing it, but you end up not enjoying it because it's just
it's not a hobby
it's
anymore.
not a hobby anymore, and there's too much pressure, and people don't want to pay you because they just think they're your friend. But you're spending all your time stressing about making someone's cake. But I've always been a person that will do extra things, and that's part of my personality. That's part of my work home life balance. I need those extra things to focus on because I can't just be the person that goes to work, comes home, looks after the kids. Like I need my brain to be active in other ways and to do something that I'm passionate about. But that eats into my work-life balance. Sometimes that can get obsessive. Even little things like making book day costumes for the children.
Oh yeah.
I absolutely loved doing that. That was like a massive passion for me. Like, and I'd think about it for ages, and I'd plan it, and I'd make them amazing. They were great, but I can become really consumed and obsessive, and that is not helpful sometimes.
Not helpful, but without that, then you wouldn't have the passion for life as well.
No,
I think,
yeah.
I think if you're making time to prioritize your passions, your hobbies, your interests, then the things that need to be done will get done in a much better way because you're filling your cup up, aren't you? So if you think of it as a cup, or we did it in work, we had some autism training the other day, and it was about spoons, and you get so many spoons, and you can use up your spoons in the day really easily, and it's about how you fill up your spoons again. I like the cup theory, but the idea being that you can pour bits of your water out of your cup, and you can give to other people, but how are you filling your cup up?
Replenishing it.
So are you exercising? Are you keeping hydrated? Are you checking in with your thoughts and being more mindful? Are you spending time socializing? Are you spending
right
time
foods,
getting enough sleep, getting enough daylight, feeling healthier, things like that. That, if you take care of the basics, it's a bit like Maslow's hierarchy as well, isn't it? Maslow's hierarchy of need, if anyone's not heard of that before.
We did it.
Pyramid. I'm sure we did. Yeah, the pyramid. If you've not got the foundations, which are your physiological needs, like basic needs of sleep, water, house to live in, all this, like if you've not got that, you're not going to progress up the pyramid to be able to connect with others. It's love, belonging, self-esteem. You're not going to be able to progress up if you've not got those basic foundations first. So that cup, you've got to make sure that you're filling it every single day of things that are going to help you. And I think sometimes, and previously in the past, I would see that as me being selfish. I know that's not true now, but
and I feel like that's how sometimes that's portrayed by other people, make you feel like that's selfish. So I remember like making a book day costume, just completely random situation, but I'd be then a bit shamed about it. So like some of the parents or like somebody on Facebook would be like, how have you got time for this? Or like, what are you doing with like how are you even doing this? Like why are you spending your time doing that? Like it was like a they were trying to offend me and make me feel shamed for using my time in that way because I'm an adult and I should be focusing on work and focusing on my kids. And
Yeah,
that's just
should, yeah.
and that still is the case with
Oh,
lots of things. Like
100%.
even the podcast, like I'll get people that are like, I don't get it. Like, what is this for? What you doing? It's like, well, it's not actually for anything. It's just for like for us because we wanted to do it and
Yeah.
it's fun and it's like making people feel like they're not on their own and
And that it's okay
and
to have a
obviously
voice
it's
and
not
talk
and
about
it's not for
things.
you and then just don't listen to it. It's not an issue, but you're always going to get those people that don't get you,
Yeah.
and
And
that's
that are
fine.
opinionated and that can be a bit judgmental.
Yeah, and they're always going to say something and that'll try and knock you down and make you feel a bit bad about yourself, but you know, you as a person, you need to accept that you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, or you'll be a mug, like they always say. Like you need to be okay with criticism because as long as and it's normally a self-reflection of how that other person is feeling.
Absolutely. I
So you
think
need to be okay with that.
what I used to do when I felt very consumed, that would, I would be the last person that I thought about because in my head I would constantly say I haven't got the time for that.
Yeah,
I can't meditate, I haven't got the time. Who's not
yeah,
got 5 minutes?
yeah,
Like, but I would say I haven't got the time,
yeah,
not at the time today. I haven't got the time to go to the gym. And time would be something that I would continue to say, which a lot of people do. If you speak to anyone about joining a gym or, I haven't got the time, that's immediately what the first person would say.
yeah.
But I have realized, sometimes quite drastically, that if I do not invest in myself and do not take care of those basics, it is the people around me that suffer as well as
Oh
myself.
my gosh, yeah. So how many times have you been like we were talking about sharing at the kids before? I definitely remember being at low points in my life where I felt rubbish about myself. I didn't feel like I had anything going for me. I felt like I was in a really bad place. Didn't feel like my brain felt consumed and like I wasn't really focusing on anything and I couldn't focus on anything. And the amount of times I remember lashing out at the children because I was just overwhelmed with
Yeah.
stimulus. Like everything was just overwhelming to me and they were the people closest to me that were in my environment, so they were getting the brunt of my emotions and how I felt
You're more
about in
irritable,
those
aren't you?
situations. Yeah.
You are more irritable.
I'm less able to cope with stuff because you're not taking care of yourself.
You're not as resilient. Um, and if you're in the cycle of being busy, constantly doing for other people, constantly helping other people to fill their cups up, I can get like this because I want to help people.
Yeah.
So I'll have like voice notes off people or people will ring me and I want to help people. That's something that I really enjoy to do. But there needs to be a level of boundaries in there and saying, I've got this voice note. I'm really sorry. I can't answer it back just now, but
Yeah.
I'll message you back later.
Yeah.
Because if you are constantly giving to others, your energy's draining.
Yeah. Well, it's
And
like replenishing your cup, isn't it?
yeah,
So you're
absolutely.
emptying your cup into all these other little bits and stuff, and then who and how is filling your cup up.
Yeah.
But it is about saying no, isn't it? Being able to say no. That's hard.
The book there, this are of
Saying no.
not
Saying
giving a
fuck
fuck, I
it.
think
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
And there's another one about something to do with saying no. I've got it upstairs. I can't remember the title of it now.
Yeah. That is an art in itself, though, and that comes with time. And it's about learning how to say no in a way that's explanatory sometimes, because saying no to certain people definitely feels like to those people certain because some people can't hack you saying no to them or not being made to be a priority, but you need to be able to like I think you need to be able to explain yourself to those people. Some people just don't. Some people are takers and some people are givers, aren't they? And I think you've always got like a trait of that mentality. And some people will take and take and take and take and take and expect you to give and give and give. And if you've always been that way, then it's very difficult for them to learn that you've grown and can say, I'm not at the minute, I'm not going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Or and I've started to do those steps with like maybe certain family members and like my friends, just because not in a nasty way, just because I'm really aware of myself now and I'm really
Yeah.
aware of how my moods and my time and what needs to be right in my house for my children to feel safe and for me to feel comfortable and for us all to just feel cohesive as a family. And I know what works now. So now I know that if too much comes in, then I can, or if something comes in and that I've not planned for and I'm not ready to do, then I can just say, well, actually, I can't do that right now.
Yeah.
But then if those people that you're saying no to haven't been through that journey themselves and they haven't grown in that way and understand that, then that's really a difficult thing to hear, and then that can make you feel bad and fill you with guilt, can't it?
And there's also a way to say no. So, like, I was invited to go out at the weekend, and afterwards I was thinking, I really should have just said no to that. It was really stressful. The kids were really tired from having a sleepover the night before and being out of sorts. Really should have just said, that sounds really lovely, but I can't come because. But it's that whole panic thinking that you're fabricating something, you're letting someone down, they're really looking forward to it. You don't want to, you don't want to let people down. In theory, you think it's going to be nicer than it actually turns out to be. And it's like learning from that experience, thinking, you know what, we actually could have all just done with a little bit of downtime. I need to plan in that downtime for the children because they will want to do all of these things, but I need to be the person that analyzes the situation and thinks, do you know what, you've had a really restless night the night before, or you've been up really early, quite unsettled. We need a chill day today. We need some downtime, and that's okay. And even within a work capacity, if you're constantly wanting to do and and it's been suggested, oh, would you mind doing this? If you are a yes person and you're I'll do that, then it can easily reach a point where you are overconsumed with so many things that you need to do.
And then you start to feel undervalued, and then you start to get a bit of what's it called? Where you feel when you feel undervalued and you just don't
Inadequate.
no I can't think of the words going on.
Unappreciated.
Well, you just start to not enjoy it, so you start to hate it. Resentment.
Okay.
So you start to get a lot of resentment for you feel undervalued, and you start to resent what you're doing, and then it is like a vicious cycle then, because you don't want to do anything then.
Switch on.
Yeah, but that's because you take those tiny little tasks extra on, don't you? And I'll just do that a little bit. I'll just do it a little bit, just do it a little bit, and then you get good at something. And someone's like, oh, well, she's good at that, so she'll do that. So I'll ask her to do that, or I'll ask her to do that. That's like when I was making cakes. Like, oh, she can make me a cake. That's fine. I'll be like, right, okay. Would it cost this much? Oh no, can you do it like for 20 quid? It's like, yeah, but it takes me like 5 hours. Like, what do you think? I have to buy the stuff. Like, what? But that's like, it's
charity cake.
There's always something, isn't there, like a little message on like Facebook or somewhere, and it's like it's like shopping local and stuff. Like it'll take somebody, like one of your friends, 5 hours to make a beautiful cake for you or whatever, and you undervalue it because it's something that your friends made. So you'd be like, oh, I'll just give her 20 quid. But then like Balenciaga will put a bin bag online, put their ads on it, and like you'll pay 3 grand for it. Like, not you personally, but it's that hype of, isn't it, of brand, and this like, oh God, it's this fantastic, amazing brand that are making these amazing, and if I wear it, everybody will see it and it'll be fantastic. But it's made in a sweatshop in China for like 2 quid, and you've just been completely ripped off. But you just don't see the value in like the little things. You want all this big, ridiculous stuff. Funny, isn't it? Right, well, I think we've covered a lot of ground.
Covered loads.
Talked about boundaries as well, which has been really nice. Say no.
Yeah, say no.
How to improve your work-life balance, what to think about your time management.
I think time's come up a lot, having to filling your cup up, and self-evaluation, self-regulation, being a good role model to the people around you, putting yourself first.
Yeah, because like they always say, don't they, if you don't put yourself first, if you're not okay, then nothing else is going to be okay in your life, is it? So thank you very much for joining us. Give us a like. We're on TikTok now, YouTube, Facebook, Threads, Insta.
We are everywhere.
So give us a look up, drop us a like. Thank you very much.
Thank you.